it's Michaela, aka McDazzle. Today I wanted to take you through a step-by-step tutorial on how I like to bronze and contour my face. If you like what you see, keep on watching and subscribe to my channel. First thing I did was lay down a foundation. Today I used the Milani Conceal and Perfect, and then I put some concealer on, which is by Revolution. The first thing I like to do when I contour is cream contour. That is why my base is still wet. Two that I recommend is the Makeup Revolution London Fast Base Stick. This is their foundation. I get it in a darker shade to contour. Another one I like to use is by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It is their Shadow Stick Foundation. This one has more of a cool undertone. The next most important part is which brushes you use to blend out a liquid bronzer or contour. So the brushes that I like to use are both by Crown. They are just dense brushes like this that are flat with a lot of bristles to blend out the cream. So like I had mentioned, I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution Fast Base Stick, and this one is in the shade F14. This one is more of a bronzy undertone, like a orange, so this will be more bronzy than a contour. So first I'm going to make a line on my cheek. I'm going to start at the top of my ear and aim it towards the corner of my mouth. So we're gonna go ahead and draw just one little line. And then I like to do my forehead because I have a little bit bigger forehead than I'd like, so I can actually hide that with contour. So I'm going to put shadow here so I can make it look smaller. Gonna do the same on the other side. And then because I want more of a sharp chiseled one, I'm going to do a line instead of a scoop. If I did a scoop, it would make my cheeks look a little bit bigger, and I want it to look more sunken in. So I'm going to, again, go from my ear to my lip. So the actual hollow of my cheek is right about here, but I place it slightly above because when you're blending, the product will move down, and if it's down here, it's not going to match up and it's going to make your jaw look lower instead of higher. Another thing you want to do is when you're blending, make sure the brush goes with the contour. So instead of going back and forth, this is just going to move the product back and forth. I want to blend it out, so I'm going to do circular motions moving back and up. Back and up.
And then slowly move it down, as there's not as much product on the brush.
And then I'm just going to stipple it up a little bit more. And there is one side done. Now when it comes to around the hairline, if you were to just blend it, there's going to be a line between your hairline. So with this, you want to push it back, blend it sideways, and then push it back. We're going to do the same on this side. Pushing it back. So I'm going to take my damp beauty sponge that still has a little bit of the concealer on it, and we can go ahead and lighten that up. Blend out around what you just did to lighten the edges up and make it more of a blend instead of lines. Gonna blend up here all the way around where we did. Another thing I like to do is contour with my nose, but if you go straight on the nose, it's going to be a lot of product. So I like to take my brush and just sort of stipple it just boop once in there because this is very pigmented. And then I will go, depending on your nose shape and what you're looking for, I want to slim this part down. So I will put it here and then round this part out. So I will go underneath and then blend this up and down and on the sides of the nose. Also want to bring it back here into your eye socket because that's where the natural shadowing of your nose is. So now we have this side done. I'm going to go ahead and boop, dip in again. Again on the sides and down. The closer you make them, the more slimmer your nose is going to look.
It always looks crazy when I first do it.
Looks a little bit dark, so I'm going to take my beauty sponge again and sort of dab over the center because that's where we want the highlight to be, right here, and then go slightly over what we just did to blend it out further. Next that is important is to use a powder. I do have dry skin, but you still need to use a powder because if you take your contour color and put it over this right now, it's gonna stick and be patchy. So I like to use just a Coty Airspun powder. It's like at Walmart. And so I'll actually take some with my sponge. So put it right here. And then also on the sides of the nose, because that's where you get more creasing.
And literally just dip it right in. And then I'm going to do it on this side as well. On the side of the nose.
A little bit of powder in my smile lines with this because it holds it in place and then it won't move. Looks really funny. So now for the rest of my face, you can do that all over your face if you are oily and it will keep your oils at bay, but because I'm dry, I like to take a big fluffy brush and sort of dip it in and then tap off the excess, and then even more, I will swirl it in the cap to get all the excess powder off. And now I'm going to just sort of tap all over my face to set everything.
Once you've tapped all the powder, I'm going to kind of do little circular motions, make sure there's no patchiness.
Want to make sure there's no tug and that the foundation and concealer and your liquid contour is set. So once you feel all powdered in, we're going to move to the actual powder. Now this part also varies depending on what you want. I have a more cool toned bronzer by Physicians Formula. This is loved. But this is going to give you more of a shadow than a bronze. Contour kit. This one's also loved and abused. This is by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and it has all of your setting powders, a finishing powder. This would be a contour, and then a bronzer, and then a little bit of both. And then I have a Wet n Wild. This one has your setting powder that you could use and also your contour. And lastly, I have a shimmery bronzer. This is going to give you more of a glow if you have dry skin like me. This is more of a finisher, not to go Another thing that is important when you're contouring is what brush you want to use. So two that I like is just an angled brush. This one will fit right in the hollows of your cheek, just like this. But then also a tapered brush will fit right in there if you really want it to be sharp. For my contour, which is going to be the shadow part, I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit, and I'm going to use this. It's almost like a gray undertoned, more neutral to look more like a shadow. So I'm just going to dip into that. I'm using my tapered brush. And then I'm going to do the same thing like I was cream contouring. I'm going to start at the top of my ear and wiggle just back here. Because if you bring it all the way down, it's going to start looking muddy. So we're going to do just a little wiggle motion. Just back and forth, and then going up, never down, up. And you can drag this as far down as you want. I like to stop right where about my like irises. Stop right there. Then I'm going to do my forehead. So I like to take the brush actually flat for this one because that is a bigger surface. And I will start at my temples and just kind of set that and just do tapping motions. Wiggle, just set it. Same on the other side. Okay, now to bronze, I'm going to use a bigger, fluffier brush. This is to add color to your face, sort of get the sheen around. So I am just going to dip into the Park Ave Prince by Tarte bronzer and just sort of dust this all over my face where we had placed that contour. Like so. Now I'm going to take the same powder that we used and our damp sponge and dip into it one more time. I'm going to take this and place it underneath the contour so we can clean up what we had done before, because as you're blending it can blend down. So I'm going to use this powder to brighten up that area, starting right below it and going to your ear. Going to do it on the other side as well. Now we can let this powder sit and bake into your skin. Now that it has been a couple of minutes, I'm just going to dust away this powder, blend out that harsh line between the contour and where we baked. Next important part is to set your face so that all the powders and the creams can melt into your foundation. So I'm going to use the Mario Badescu Rose Water and just go ahead and set my face. And then afterwards, I like to take my sponge, not using the powder side that we use, using the other side, and spray it a little bit and slightly go over the face to just further melt everything in. Alrighty guys, I hope you learned something today. Like if you did, and this is our finished bronzed and contoured face.